Who's a friend that you love to hang out with? Why are they your friend, and what are some things you enjoy doing together? Today we will learn more about one of Elijah's closest friends, Elisha. But first, let's take a look at our big picture question. What is idolatry? Idolatry is a sin of the heart in which we love and value something else above God. There are a lot of things that may try to steal our hearts away from God. And sometimes we can make good things into idols, like friends or sports. But God should always be number one in our lives. We should not love anything else more than God. Over the last few weeks, we have studied Israel's struggles with idolatry. Jeroboam led the people to worship 2 golden calves. Ahab led the people to worship the false god Baal. Both times, God sent prophets to remind the people to love and follow him alone, that he is the one true God. And today, the focus shifts from the prophet Elijah to the prophet Elisha. Elijah was a powerful prophet to Israel, but God had a plan for another man to be a prophet after Elijah. The man's name was Elisha. When the time came for the Lord to take Elijah up to heaven, Elisha did not want to leave Elijah. Elijah said, "Elisha, stay here." But Elisha said, "As long as you are alive, I will not leave you." So they went together to the Jordan River. A crowd of prophets watched Elijah and Elisha as they stood by the river. Elijah rolled up his cloak and hit the water with it. The river parted, and they crossed to the other side. Elijah asked, "Is there anything I can do for you before I go?" Elisha said, "I want a double portion of the spirit that you have." Elijah said, "If you see me go, you will have it." Suddenly, a chariot of fire with horses of fire appeared and drove between them. Elijah went up to heaven in a whirlwind. Elisha watched as Elijah went away, and then he picked up Elijah's cloak and went back to the river. He hit the water, and it parted for him to cross to the other side, just as it had for Elijah. The crowd of prophets was there watching, and they saw that the spirit that was with Elijah was now with Elisha. The prophets searched for Elijah, but they could not find him, since God had taken him up to heaven. Elisha learned a lot by following Elijah. They served Israel together as prophets for a time. While Elijah was a prophet, it was clear that the Spirit of the Lord was upon him. He performed great miracles before the people with God's power. When it came time for Elijah to go to heaven and for Elisha to take over, Elisha asked for a double portion of the Spirit Elijah had. God heard Elisha's request and gave him the same Spirit that had been with Elijah. Elisha began to do great wonders and miracles before the people as well, with God's power. And it was once again clear that the Spirit of the Lord was now on Elisha. God's Spirit came upon prophets in the Old Testament to display his power and the truth of his word. Today, we can also have the Holy Spirit live in us when we place our faith in Jesus. God gives us his Spirit so we can understand his word and tell others about him. God gave Elisha the same Spirit that was in Elijah, so Elisha could carry out his mission as a prophet. Years later, Jesus told his followers to wait for the Holy Spirit. God gives believers the Holy Spirit so they can share the gospel with the world. Now let's take another look at our memory verse. Deuteronomy 6:4-5 says, "Listen, Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength." God gave the Holy Spirit to Elijah and Elisha. God also gives believers his Holy Spirit when they are saved. The Holy Spirit helps us love God with all of our heart, soul, and strength. He is the only one worthy of all of our love. Next week, we will see some of the great miracles God performed through Elisha. See you then.